As more and more educators use cloud computing tools in their classroom like Moodle, Google Apps, Desire to Learn, or Office 365, we should all be aware of the privacy implications and actions we can take to ensure we protect student privacy. To begin, let's look at the two categories of cloud computing tools that are available to us: school board and contracted tools, and external tools. In the green category are board-owned or contracted tools like your student system or human resources system. You might recognize board contracted and secure tools like Moodle, Google Apps for Education, Desire to Learn, or Office 365. When using a green tool, you can be assured moving forward that student information will be safe. Our school board takes responsibility for ensuring the data is stored securely on servers, and passwords and logins provide limited access to information. Although they are safe to use, we need to do our part to maintain the level of security by carefully controlling who has access to the tools we're using. Is it just students? Students and parents? Remember Sheila? She decided to play it safe and keep her house key in her purse instead of under her welcome mat. Now others can't gain access to her home. As teachers, we can ensure that others don't have access to our students' information. By keeping our logins and passwords private, exercising caution when sharing information with others electronically, and by encouraging students to do the same, we can ensure that our students' information and our own is protected from unauthorized access. In the red category fall tools that aren't tied to our board-provided logins and passwords. You might use some of these tools in your classroom: Dropbox, Evernote, VoiceThread, Prezi, or Edmodo, as well as apps for mobile devices. These external tools are commonly called Web 2.0 tools. The board doesn't provide or maintain these tools or have a contractual relationship with the provider. We can't be assured that they have the same level of security as board tools, so we need to think about them differently. Meet Jasdeep. She works in a privately owned office building that hires an external security company. She knows lots of people have access to the building after hours, but doesn't know who they are. She starts to notice that items on her desk are being moved. It looks like someone has been going through her things. There's even a bite out of her apple. Jasdeep can't control who has access to her workspace and can see what's on her desk. She needs to be careful about the information she leaves out on her desk that might be sensitive or private. Like Jasdeep, we also need to be more cautious about the information we manage that may become available to others when security is not provided by our employer. When we store data in tools that aren't board owned and operated, security is not guaranteed. So when we use red category tools, we just need to stop and think carefully through two key questions before moving forward. First, what information will I put in this tool? And how can I depersonalize the data to protect students' privacy? And second, who will have access to the information? What information will I store online? Student assessment data? If so, use initials or aliases, something that will be identifiable only to you. Don't use students' first and last names. Whereas with green tools, we can use students' names because the board has taken responsibility for securing the data. Maybe you'll be storing personal information, like student names, birth dates, and grade level. If so, you will need to seek parental permission. You might also want to consider if it's necessary for your purpose to store this information online. Maybe it's photos or video that you'll be storing online. It's not recommended that you share photos or video that show students' faces on a red tool, as you cannot be certain of the security of the tool. If you choose to do so, you'll need parental permission. Sharing photos or video on a green tool is an option if you are careful about controlling who has access to the information. For student work, use initials and not student names to maintain privacy. So, who will I give access to? This is a very important question to consider when using both green and red tools. Will you be giving access to yourself only? If so, remember to password protect your device. Maybe you'll be giving access to yourself, students and colleagues, administrators, and parents. If so, remember that when you give more people access to student information, you'll need to be more cautious about what you choose to share. Personal information and photos that are shared online can be easily copied and redistributed. Do you plan on giving access to the public? Think carefully about your purpose for sharing student information publicly and the possible repercussions. By leaving the doors fully open to anyone being able to access student information, you will need to be extra diligent to ensure you have explicit parental permissions and have carefully ensured depersonalization of student information in order to keep our students safe. By carefully considering these questions and taking steps to depersonalize student data stored on red tools, we can make sure that we protect our students' privacy. Meet Steve. He loves technology and uses lots of tools in his classroom. Twitter, classroom blog, classroom website, Evernote for assessment, Dropbox for sharing photos with parents, student blogs. When it comes to technology, Steve does it all. Hold on, Steve. You're using lots of great tools, but do you have parental permissions to store student information on these red tools? Have you talked to your administrator about what tools you've chosen to use and how you're ensuring student privacy? Have you taught your students how to keep their own and others' information secure? Are you being cautious about what information you share publicly using social media like Twitter? Okay, Steve, it sounds like you need to go back and start putting some things in place. Take the principles you have learned from this video and begin to incorporate them into your use of technology. Check to see if the green tools available at your school board can accomplish what you're trying to achieve. Look for resources that might be available at your school board, either through information posted on your intranet, staff responsible for privacy and security, or digital literacy personnel your school board may employ. You're welcome, Steve. There are lots of great cloud computing tools that we can use in our classrooms to support student learning. By carefully considering how we will protect student privacy prior to using these tools, not only will we fulfill our professional responsibilities for handling student information safely, but we will also model good practices for our students. Thank you for your participation in this learning and for your ongoing work to ensure the protection of our students' privacy.